Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we're going to talk about your favorite topic, GameStop. Not just your favorite topic, it's also my favorite topic, because they do a lot of stupid things. We're going to recap GameStop's biggest scandals, and two of them I've actually never really talked about here on the channel. First up on the list, which this is again going to be a unique one, but pre-order DLC. So, exclusive code for pre-ordering the game here. A lot of you may go, oh, but every company does that, which you are correct, but actually the way it started was GameStop paying companies to cut pieces out of the game and make them exclusive to GameStop. Other companies later started doing it to match GameStop to hopefully generate more pre-orders and get those sales back that they were losing to GameStop because you got something exclusively that was originally in the game because GameStop paid them enough money for it. That is kind of a crappy practice, by the way, and one that most people don't like because if you're offering an exclusive mission at 4 different retailers, that tends to piss people off because then you can't get all 4 of the missions. But with that also being said, it's also starting to kind of cut back, whereas a lot of the pre-order DLC exclusive stuff is getting put into the box before it actually goes to the stores, and it's the same across all of the retailers. That doesn't mean it's always that case. There are still occasions where GameStop gets exclusive pre-order DLC and then mocks their fans about it, like Assassin's Creed Origins. Next up on the list, the Deus Ex OnLive code scandal. What is the Deus Ex OnLive code scandal, you might ask? I worked there for this, and I got to participate in this, not necessarily because I wanted to, but because corporate told us we had to. There was an email that came down, Deus Ex for the Xbox 360, I believe it was Human Revolution. I don't remember which game it was because I've never been a huge fan of the Deus Ex franchise. Came with a free copy of a game on the OnLive service, which is a digital platform that offered you game streaming. You can play it on your phone, you can play it on your computer, wherever you want it. GameStop decided, and keep in mind this code came with all new copies of the game per Square Enix. GameStop told every store to open every copy of the game, pull the code out, throw it out, reseal the game, and sell them as new. Obviously, if the publisher was giving you something free with your game that you got at any other store if you pre-ordered it, and then GameStop decided, nope, you can't have it if you shop with us, that's bad. Which is pretty much one of the big reasons why people dislike GameStop is because if it's an open product, it's not new. And I understand there's people out there that go, oh, well, it's never been played. That's not actually necessarily true. That depends on the store because employees are allowed to take those home, and you never really know what's been taken out of the case at that point. A lot of companies will put games out on the floor in locked keepers to keep actual people from opening the game because as a consumer, you should expect a sealed product if it's new. SNES and NES Classic hoarding, and this won't be the only time where Nintendo is stingy and not transparent about their product. So, about 3 or 4 months after no one could find the SNES Classic, or the NES Classic, Nintendo magically had stockpiles of them that you had to buy in a bundle. The issue with the bundles is they sold them on ThinkGeek, and it came with a bunch of crap you didn't want, and it was essentially their way of making the MSRP higher without them blatantly raising the price of just the console and acting like a crappy scalper of a company, while still acting like a crappy scalper of a company. Because most of these bundles came with stuff you probably didn't want, and most of it was ThinkGeek clearance that they marked back up to full price, rather than taking the hit on, just so you could get it with your NES Classic. The Circle of Life. A lot of you know about the Circle of Life. We talked about it when it happened. The issue with the Circle of Life was the stats that it was actually putting on the employees, and there were so many employees that came forward talking about how they were being encouraged to not be honest and lie about having new copies of the game to essentially force you to buy a used one or to push pre-orders or add warranties without your knowledge. And I mean, it wasn't a couple of employees. We're talking about hundreds of employees that came forward to news outlets about these topics. We're talking about Kotaku not being able to even buy a Switch unless they bought the warranty with it. They were blatantly told that by the store manager of a GameStop. And they called GameStop out for it publicly. It was either IGN or Kotaku. I don't remember which one of the two. GameStop's website hack. A lot of you know GameStop got hacked, but a lot of you don't know that it was 6 months prior to that it was hacked from when they told you. GameStop didn't really want to talk about it because obviously no company wants to acknowledge a hack. You saw the damage that it did to Sony with PSN, and they gave away a lot of free stuff. Nintendo just said good luck. There was no kind of, oh, we'll keep an eye on your credit information, here's this for condolences. It was just, this information might have been compromised. Then you never heard about it again after they did their investigation into it, and it's part of the reason why I would recommend for you to never buy anything off of GameStop's website. Just go into the store if it's something you absolutely need. They're being a tech company, they're probably the least technologically marvelous company I've ever seen in my life. Last up on the list, and this is going to play into the NES and SNES Classic, GameStop likes to take advantage of limited edition stuff that they know they can later on sell for a markup. Xenoblade Chronicles came out, and we barely had enough to fill pre-orders at my store. It was a very highly demanded game, but we never seemed to have any of them. Then, months later, after no one was even still looking for it because it was impossible to find, we would get in whole new shipments of the game. We were then told to open them because the resale value had gone up so much. I mean, these are unopened shipments directly from the vendor, like Nintendo themselves. We would then be told to open them and sell them as used because GameStop was selling these used for $80. $80. The MSRP was $60 or $50, and then GameStop would tell you to open them because they could jack up the price due to the market value of the product because it was going for more on eBay because they caused supply and demand to shift in favor of it. GameStop influenced the market of the product, and keep in mind, this game was exclusive to GameStop. Nintendo has not made that mistake again ever since this incident. Because it was a limited game, it was exclusive to GameStop, and GameStop drove the demand. GameStop then manipulated the market and sold it for more. I literally had unopened copies of these, and I didn't even open them. If you bought the used copy, I still gave it to you unopened because you at least deserved that much. Thankfully, down the road, Nintendo eventually released Xenoblade Chronicles digitally, as they did with Metroid Prime on the Wii U, and you could pick them up for $20, which was the biggest nail in that resale value for GameStop. The Metroid Prime Trilogy Collection also had a similar fate with GameStop, but it wasn't exclusive to GameStop, I don't believe. It was just stupidly hard to find, so GameStop would resell it at a really, really high price, above MSRP. But, again, Nintendo kind of ruined that with adding it digitally to the Wii Marketplace on the Wii U. So, guys, let me know what you think about these. Which one did you find to be the shadiest of all the practices that they've done or scandals they've been involved with? Just kind of curious to hear your point of view on it. Did any of these surprise you? Have maybe you never heard of one of these incidents before? Or if you have questions about them, you can also let me know that down in the comments. Also, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You can ding that little bell and I'll let you know when I upload new content. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. Helps the channel and the community grow, so I really appreciate that. And I'll have plenty more content coming for you soon, so stick around.